There was a moment when you thought the pain would destroy you, when the wound was so deep that you believed nothing could ever grow there again. You looked at the scars on your heart and wondered if they would forever define who you are. But what if I told you that right now, in this very moment, I am doing something you cannot yet see? What if the wound you've been hiding, the one you've been ashamed of, the one that keeps you awake at night, is actually being transformed into the most powerful testimony of your life? You are here because something inside you still believes. Something whispers that there is more beyond the pain, and you are right. This is not coincidence. This is divine appointment. I have been preparing you through every tear, every sleepless night, every moment you felt alone. The wound you carry is not your end, it is your beginning. I'm about to show you how every broken place becomes a doorway to breakthrough, how every scar becomes a story that sets others free, and how your deepest pain becomes your greatest purpose. Do not look away now. What I am about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about suffering, healing, and the power hidden within your testimony. You clicked on this message because something in your spirit recognized truth. Deep within you, beneath the layers of hurt and disappointment, there is a knowing that your pain has meaning. You have been carrying wounds that others cannot see. Perhaps it was betrayal that shattered your trust. Maybe it was loss that left you hollow. It could be rejection that made you question your worth, or failure that convinced you that you would never rise again. Whatever it is, you have been living with the weight of it, wondering if healing would ever come, wondering if anyone truly understands what you have endured. But here is what I need you to grasp right now. I do not waste pain. Every wound in your life has been seen by me. Every tear has been collected. Every moment of suffering has been recorded in my book, and I am in the business of transformation. Where the enemy meant to destroy you, I am creating a testimony. Where darkness tried to consume you, I am bringing forth light that will guide countless others out of their own darkness. You may have asked why you had to go through what you went through. Why did the pain last so long? Why did help not come when you cried out? I want you to understand something profound today. Your wound is becoming a well. The very place where you bled is where living water will flow. The testimony I am birthing in you is not just for your healing, it is for the healing of generations. When you speak about what I brought you through, chains will break off people you have never met. When you share how I turned your mourning into dancing, hope will rise in hearts that have given up. This is why you must stay until the very end of this message, because I am about to whisper something to your spirit that will unlock the purpose behind your pain. I am going to show you exactly how I turn wounds into testimonies, and more importantly, how your specific wounds are being transformed right now into a weapon of deliverance for others. If this message is already stirring something deep within you, I want you to do something right now. Subscribe to this channel. This is not just about staying connected to content, this is about positioning yourself to receive the continuous flow of my voice, speaking directly to your situation. And once you subscribe, I need you to confirm your presence here by commenting, "Lord, I am here. I subscribe because I love you and I want to hear you." Let me know you are ready to receive everything I have prepared for you. Also, comment below what country and city you are watching from. I want to see how far my voice is reaching, how many hearts across the world are gathering to hear this word of transformation. Now, as we move forward, I'm going to release specific revelation that will bring clarity to your confusion and purpose to your pain. There is a word I will speak over your life before this message ends, and when you write it down, when you declare it, blessings that have been waiting for their moment will be released into your life. So do not leave early. Do not let distraction pull you away. What I'm about to say has been prepared specifically for you, for this moment, for this season of your turning. Your pain was never meant to be hidden. I see how you have tried to hide your wounds. You smile in public while bleeding in private. You answer that you are fine when your heart is breaking. You have built walls around your pain because you believed that if people knew what you had been through, they would see you differently. But I need to tell you something that will set you free. Your pain was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to be healed and then revealed. There is a reason I allow certain wounds in your life. It is not because I enjoy watching you suffer. It is because I know the power that resides in a testimony born from genuine struggle. Anyone can talk about victory who has never faced defeat. Anyone can speak of peace who has never known chaos. But when someone who has walked through the valley of the shadow of death can stand and declare my faithfulness, that testimony carries a weight that cannot be manufactured or imitated. Think about the woman with the issue of blood. For 12 years, she suffered in silence. 12 years of isolation, shame, and financial devastation, as she spent everything she had on physicians who could not help her. Society had labeled her unclean. Religion had pushed her to the margins. But when she pressed through the crowd and touched the hem of my garment, everything changed in an instant. She was healed. But I did not let her slip away quietly into the crowd. I called her forward. I made her tell her story publicly. Why? Because her testimony was not just for her. It was for every person in that crowd who needed to know that no condition is too chronic for my power, no situation too desperate for my intervention. Your wounds have been preparing you for a public testimony. The very things you have kept secret are the keys that will unlock prison doors for others. When you finally speak about how I brought you through depression, someone contemplating ending their life will choose to live. When you share how I restored your broken marriage, someone on the brink of divorce will decide to fight for their covenant. When you testify about how I provided when every door was closed, someone drowning in lack will receive faith to believe for abundance and breakthrough. But here is what you must understand. A testimony is not powerful because the story is dramatic. A testimony is powerful because it reveals my nature. It shows that I am faithful even when circumstances scream otherwise. It proves that I am near to the broken-hearted. It demonstrates that I do not abandon my children in their darkest hour. Your wound becomes a testimony the moment you allow me to heal it and then use it to point others toward me. I know you have wondered if sharing your story would make you vulnerable. You are afraid of judgment, of people using your past against you, of being defined by what happened to you. But let me tell you this. When you walk in the authority of a healed testimony, no weapon formed against you will prosper. The enemy loses all power over you the moment you expose what he tried to destroy you with. He operates in darkness and secrecy. But when you bring your wound into the light of my love and declare what I have done, you strip him of his ammunition. This is why the enemy fights so hard to keep you silent. He knows that your testimony has explosive power. He knows that when you open your mouth and declare how I turned your wounds into testimonies, entire strongholds will crumble. Generational curses will be broken. People who have been bound for years will suddenly go free. Your voice carries deliverance because it carries proof of my delivering power. So I am asking you today, will you let me turn your wounds into testimonies? Will you trust me enough to believe that what hurt you can now heal others? Will you give me permission to take the most painful chapters of your life and write a story of redemption that will echo through eternity? If this word is resonating with you, show me by leaving a like on this video. Let it be your way of saying, "Yes, Lord, I receive this truth." And if you know someone who needs to hear that their pain has purpose, share this message with them. Be the vessel through which my voice reaches another hurting heart. Drop a comment and tell me, what wound are you ready to let me transform into a testimony? I am listening. I am here with you. The process of transformation requires your surrender. You want the testimony, but you must understand that transformation requires surrender. You cannot hold on to your wound and expect me to turn it into something beautiful. You cannot nurse your bitterness and simultaneously walk in breakthrough. There is a process, and it begins with releasing your right to remain wounded. I know this is difficult. Your wound has been with you for so long that it has become familiar. It has shaped how you see yourself, how you interact with others, how you interpret the world around you. In some ways, your wound has become your identity. You have introduced yourself by your pain. You have explained your limitations by referencing what happened to you. And now I am asking you to let it go. Not because what happened was not significant, but because I have something greater waiting for you on the other side of surrender. Surrender does not mean pretending the wound never existed. It does not mean minimizing the harm that was done to you. Surrender means acknowledging the pain fully, bringing it to me completely, and trusting me to do what only I can do. It means saying, "Lord, I do not understand why this happened, but I trust that you can use it for good. I release my need for revenge. I release my right to remain bitter. I give you permission to heal me in the way you see fit." This is where many people get stuck. They want healing, but they want it on their terms. They want the testimony without the process. They want to skip the part where I have to touch the infected wound and clean it out before true healing can begin. But I cannot work with what you will not release to me. I cannot transform what you keep hidden in the shadows of your heart. There is a reason I told you to forgive those who hurt you. Forgiveness is not about letting people off the hook. It is about freeing yourself from the hook. Every time you rehearse the offense, every time you replay the betrayal, every time you remind yourself of what was done to you, you are keeping the wound fresh. You are preventing the healing that I am trying to bring. But when you choose to forgive, even when it feels impossible, even when every emotion screams against it, you are opening the door for transformation. I healed you so that you could become a healer. I delivered you so that you could become a deliverer. But if you remain trapped in the prison of unforgiveness, you will never step into the fullness of your testimony. The enemy knows this. That is why he works so hard to keep you offended, to keep you rehearsing the past, to keep you identified by your wound rather than by your victory. Let me tell you about Joseph. His brothers sold him into slavery. He was falsely accused and thrown into prison. He spent years in situations he did not deserve, but he never allowed his wounds to define him. He surrendered his pain to me, and I turned every injustice into a stepping stone toward his destiny. When he finally stood before his brothers years later, he did not speak with bitterness. He said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." That is the voice of someone whose wounds have been transformed into testimony. That is the voice of someone who understands that surrender unlocks divine purpose. Your process may look different from someone else's. Healing is not one size fits all, but the principle remains the same. Surrender opens the door. When you release your pain to me, I begin the work of transformation. I take the shattered pieces and create a mosaic of grace. I take the scars and turn them into marks of honor. So I take the story that the enemy wrote to destroy you and rewrite it as a testimony that will build my kingdom. So today, right now, I am asking you to surrender. Stop fighting to control the narrative. Stop trying to heal yourself. Stop medicating your pain with temporary distractions and empty substitutes. Bring it all to me, lay it at my feet, and watch what I will do. Trust the process. Trust my timing. Trust that I know exactly what I am doing with your wounds. Every wound carries a specific assignment. Not all wounds are the same, and not all testimonies serve the same purpose. The wound you carry is not random. It is strategic. I allowed it because there is a specific assignment attached to it, an assignment that only you can fulfill because of what you have walked through. Think about it. The person who has overcome addiction carries an authority to speak freedom to those still bound by substance and compulsion. The person who has survived abuse carries a voice that reaches into the darkest places where others are still trapped. The person who has lost everything and rebuilt carries wisdom about resilience and faith that theory alone could never produce. Your wound qualifies you for a mission that requires first-hand experience, not second-hand knowledge. This is why comparison is so dangerous. You look at someone else's testimony and wish you had their story. You minimize your own wound because it does not seem as dramatic or as publicly acceptable. But I did not give you their assignment. I gave you yours. The people I am sending you to reach will not respond to someone else's testimony. They need yours. They need to hear from someone who has walked the exact path they are walking, who has faced the exact giant they are facing, who has survived the exact storm they are enduring. Your wound is your credential. It gives you access to rooms that others cannot enter. It gives you a voice that others do not have. When you speak from a place of authentic survival, people listen differently. They lean in, they believe, they receive hope because they see living proof that what they are going through does not have to be the end of their story. But here is the key. You must be willing to walk in your specific assignment. You cannot try to carry someone else's mantle or fulfill someone else's mission. I designed your wound with precision. I knew exactly what you would need to endure in order to reach the people I have assigned to you. Every tear, every setback, every moment of desperation was preparing you for a divine encounter with someone who needs to know that they are not alone. This is how kingdom economy works. Nothing is wasted. Every experience, even the painful ones, is working together for good. Your wound becomes part of the greater tapestry I am weaving. When you allow me to use it, when you step into your assignment with boldness and vulnerability, you become a conduit of my healing power. You become a living testimony that I am still in the business of turning mourning into dancing, ashes into beauty, and wounds into weapons of deliverance. So stop despising your wound. Stop wishing you had a different story. The wound you carry is the very thing that qualifies you for greatness in my kingdom. It is your entry point into a purpose bigger than yourself. It is your invitation to partner with me in setting captives free. If this is sparking something in your spirit, let me know you are tracking with this revelation. Hit that like button. Share this message with someone who needs to understand that their pain has purpose. And comment below, what assignment do you sense is attached to your wound? What group of people do you feel called to reach because of what you have survived? Let your voice be heard. Let your testimony begin to take shape even now. Timing is everything in the release of your testimony. You may be wondering why your healing has taken so long, why the breakthrough seems delayed, why you are still dealing with the aftermath of a wound that happened years ago. Let me tell you something that will shift your perspective. Timing is everything in the release of your testimony. I do not heal you prematurely, because a premature testimony lacks the depth and authority that comes from complete healing. There is a difference between a wound that has been bandaged and a wound that has been healed. A bandaged wound still hurts when pressure is applied. It still bleeds when touched. It still limits your movement and function. But a healed wound has been fully restored. The tissue has regenerated. Strength has returned. And most importantly, the testimony that comes from that place carries a power that a bandaged wound cannot produce. If I released you to share your testimony before the healing was complete, you would still be speaking from a place of pain rather than victory. Your words would carry more hurt than hope. Your story would reflect more on the wound than on my power to heal. But when I complete the work, when I bring you to the other side, when I restore what was broken and redeem what was lost, then your testimony becomes a weapon that destroys the works of darkness. This is why patience is so important. You must trust my timing. I am not slow, I am thorough, I am not withholding healing from you. I am ensuring that when healing comes, it is complete and permanent. I am building something in you during this process that will serve you for the rest of your life. Character, resilience, faith, compassion, authority. These qualities cannot be downloaded. They must be developed through the fire of experience. If this message is touching you in ways you cannot explain, then you are witnessing divine timing even now. This is your moment to accept what I have been doing and declare with unwavering faith that my plans for your life are perfect. Hear this. Those of you who feel the stirring to honor this word through giving, if it is possible, contribute with love through the thanks button. Not because the amount matters, but because the heart behind it speaks volumes. For it is written, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Every offering made in faith is a seed planted before me, and not one of them will I leave barren. I see what is done in secret, and I reward it openly. Those who contribute with any amount and a sincere heart, do not forget to leave your name and your city with your contribution. Because on the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on the Voice of God channel, your name will be remembered, mentioned as a token of gratitude and covered by divine blessings released through prayer. I see in the secret, and I reward in the open. Stay until the end of this message because I still want to touch your heart with my voice. Consider the Apostle Paul. He spent years after his conversion being prepared for ministry. He did not immediately begin preaching to the masses. He went into the wilderness. He wrestled with his past. He allowed me to heal the wounds of his former life as a persecutor of my church. And when the time was right, when the healing was complete, I released him into his assignment. His testimony carried such power that entire cities were transformed. Chains fell off prisoners. The blind received sight. The dead were raised. Why? Because he spoke from a place of complete surrender and complete healing. Your time is coming. The wounds you have carried are in the final stages of transformation. What you thought would destroy you is about to become the very thing that launches you into your destiny. But you must wait for my signal. You must resist the pressure to share prematurely. You must allow me to finish what I have started. When the time is right, I will give you the green light. You will know in your spirit that it is time to speak. You will feel a boldness rise up within you that was not there before. You will sense my anointing on your words, and you will watch as your testimony breaks chains and sets captives free. But until that moment comes, continue to allow me to work. Continue to surrender. Continue to trust the process. Your testimony will cost you comfort but gain you purpose. Let me be honest with you. Sharing your testimony will cost you something. It will cost you the comfort of anonymity. It will cost you the luxury of being misunderstood without correction. It will cost you the safety of keeping your struggles private. But what you gain is far greater than what you lose. You gain purpose. You gain influence. You gain the joy of knowing that your pain is now producing life in others. Too many people want the impact without the exposure. They want to be used by me without being vulnerable. But testimony requires transparency. It requires you to stand up and say, "This is what happened to me. This is how low I went. This is how hopeless I felt. But this is what God did." That level of honesty makes people uncomfortable. It challenges the facades we all hide behind. But it also creates space for real healing to take place. When you share your testimony, you will face criticism. Some will question your motives. Others will judge your past. Religious people will pick apart your theology. But none of that matters when you know that I have called you to speak. When you know that your obedience to share your story is setting people free, criticism becomes background noise. I did not call you to be comfortable. I called you to be effective. I did not call you to protect your reputation. I called you to point people to me. And the most powerful way to do that is through the raw, unfiltered truth of what I have brought you through. Your mess becomes your message. Your test becomes your testimony. Your trial becomes your triumph. Think about the man who was born blind. After I healed him, the religious leaders interrogated him. They tried to discredit his testimony. They attacked his parents. They questioned his motives, but he had a simple response. "One thing I know, I was blind, but now I see." He could not defend every theological argument they threw at him. He was not a scholar, but he had a testimony, and no amount of debate could take that away from him. That is the power of your testimony. It is irrefutable. You cannot argue with someone's lived experience. You cannot debate transformation when the evidence is standing right in front of you. Your testimony is not based on theory, it is based on reality. And reality has a way of silencing every critic. So yes, sharing your testimony will cost you comfort. But it will gain you something far more valuable. The fulfillment of knowing that your life is making a difference. The satisfaction of seeing someone else experience breakthrough because you were brave enough to be honest. The eternal reward of partnering with me in building my kingdom through your obedience. If you are ready to pay the price for purpose, if you are willing to trade comfort for kingdom impact, let me know by engaging with this message. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs courage to share their story. And comment, "I choose purpose over comfort." Let that be your declaration today. The enemy fears your testimony more than your worship. Here is something you need to understand. The enemy does not fear your worship. He does not fear your prayers. He does not even fear your faith. What he fears most is your testimony. Why? Because your testimony exposes his defeat. It reveals his lies. It demonstrates that his power is limited and that I am greater. When you worship, you are expressing love and adoration toward me. That is beautiful and I receive it. But when you testify, you are declaring war on the kingdom of darkness. You are announcing to every demon, every principality, every force of evil that they have lost. You are showing others who are still bound that freedom is possible. You are dismantling the lies that have kept people in bondage. The enemy works overtime to keep you silent. He whispers that your story does not matter. He convinces you that no one cares. He fills your mind with fear about what people will think. He reminds you of your past failures as if they disqualify you from speaking about my grace. But all of that is a strategy to keep your testimony locked away, because he knows that once you release it, his hold on others will be broken. This is why the Bible says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Your testimony, combined with the finished work of the cross, is a weapon of mass destruction against the enemy's plans. It is not just your story, it is proof of my power. It is evidence of my faithfulness. It is a declaration that no weapon formed against my children will prosper. Think about the demoniac of Gadara. He was completely tormented, living among the tombs, cutting himself, beyond human help. But when I set him free, his life became a testimony that shook an entire region. I told him to go back to his hometown and tell everyone what I had done for him. And when he did, people were amazed. They could not deny the transformation. They could not explain it away. His testimony opened the door for me to move in that region in ways that would not have been possible otherwise. Your testimony has that same potential. When you speak, when you share, when you boldly declare what I have done, you are creating opportunities for me to move in the lives of those who hear. You are giving people permission to believe that if I did it for you, I can do it for them. You are becoming a living epistle, a walking miracle, a breathing testament to my goodness. So do not let the enemy silence you. Do not let fear hold you back. Do not let shame keep you hidden. Your testimony is a weapon, and it is time to wield it with authority and boldness. The ripple effect of one testimony can change generations. You may think your testimony is small. You may believe that your story is not as dramatic or as powerful as others. But let me tell you this. One testimony, spoken at the right time to the right person, can change the trajectory of generations. You have no idea who is listening. You have no idea what is at stake for the person who hears your words. Imagine a woman sitting in her car, ready to give up on life. She has lost everything. She sees no way forward. But before she makes a final decision, something prompts her to turn on a video. She hears your testimony. She hears how I brought you through the same darkness she is facing. She hears hope in your voice. She hears proof that survival is possible. And in that moment, she chooses to live. She chooses to fight. She chooses to believe. One testimony, one life saved, but it does not stop there. That woman goes on to raise children who grow up knowing the power of testimony. They share their own stories of redemption. They reach others who are lost. And the ripple effect continues for generations, all because you were obedient to share what I did for you. This is the multiplication factor of testimony. You never know who is watching. You never know who is listening. You never know what is hanging in the balance, but I know. And that is why I am asking you to be faithful with your story. Share it even when it feels insignificant. Share it even when you think no one cares. Share it because eternity is being shaped by your obedience. Your wounds are becoming testimonies that will outlive you. Long after you are gone, your story will still be speaking. People you never met will be set free because you were brave enough to be honest. Generations will be blessed because you refused to let your pain be wasted. So do not underestimate the power of your testimony. Do not downplay what I have done in your life. Do not hide the very thing that has the potential to set multitudes free. Your story matters. Your wounds matter. Your healing matters. And the testimony that is being birthed in you right now will echo through eternity. If you are feeling the weight of this truth, if you are recognizing the importance of your story, show me. Like this video. Share it with someone who needs to understand that their testimony can change lives. And comment, "My story will set others free." Let that be your commitment today. Let that be your declaration of faith. We have journeyed together through deep waters today. We have talked about wounds that you thought would never heal. We have discussed pain that you believed had no purpose. But I hope you now see what I see. I hope you now understand that every wound you carry is in the process of becoming a testimony that will transform lives. You are not here by accident. You did not survive what you survived just to barely make it through. You are here because I have an assignment for you. Your wounds have qualified you. Your pain has prepared you. Your scars have given you authority. And now it is time for you to step into the fullness of what I have called you to do. I know it is not easy. I know vulnerability feels risky. I know sharing your story requires courage that you do not always feel. But I am with you. I will give you the words. I will give you the strength. I will give you the boldness. All you have to do is say yes. Say yes to the process. Say yes to the healing. Say yes to the testimony. Your wounds are being turned into testimonies right now. Even as you hear these words, transformation is taking place. What the enemy meant for evil, I am turning for good. What was meant to destroy you is becoming the very thing that establishes you. What was meant to silence you is becoming the voice that sets others free. So I am asking you today, will you trust me with your wounds? Will you surrender the pain and allow me to complete the work of transformation? Will you believe that your story has the power to change lives? If your answer is yes, then you are ready. Ready to walk into the next season, ready to see your testimony unleashed, ready to watch as I use what you have been through to bring hope, healing, and deliverance to those who are still lost in the very darkness you escaped. Before you go, I want you to do something that will seal this moment in your heart. I want you to write these words in the comments as a declaration of your faith, as a confirmation of your surrender, as a statement of your belief in what I am doing in your life. Write this: I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Let that be your seal. Let that be your agreement with everything I have spoken over you today. Let it be your battle cry as you step into the fullness of your testimony. And remember, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. There is more I want to show you. More I want to teach you. More I want to release through you, so stay connected. Keep returning to this place where my voice speaks clearly and consistently. Keep positioning yourself to receive, because the best is yet to come. Now go. Go with the confidence that your wounds are not wasted. Go with the assurance that your testimony is powerful. Go with the knowledge that I am turning every broken place into a doorway of breakthrough. And when you speak, when you share, when you testify, watch how I move. Watch how chains break. Watch how lives are transformed. Because that is what happens when wounds become testimonies. I love you. I am proud of you. And I am not finished with you yet.